On a day that Shohei Ohtani might join the Toronto Blue Jays, we're coming at you with another little bit of a little bit of Schiller's timeline, if you will, regarding NFTs and crypto. So the SEC investments in crypto asset securities can be extremely risky and are often volatile. Learn more in our investor alert. So going over this super quickly, exercise caution with crypto asset securities. Investor alert. TLDR, the SEC's Office of Investor Education and Advocacy continues to urge investors to be cautious if considering an investment involving crypto asset securities. Investments in crypto asset securities can be exceptionally volatile and speculative, and the platforms where investors buy, sell, borrow, or lend these securities may lack important protections for investors. The risk of loss for individual investors who participate in transactions involving crypto assets, including crypto asset securities, remain significant. The only money you should put at risk with any speculative investment is money you can afford to lose entirely. Well, okay, that doesn't seem so bad, right? So, those offering crypto asset investments or services may not be complying with applicable law, including federal securities laws. In some investors in crypto asset security should understand they may be deprived of key information and other important protections in connection with their investment. Investments in crypto asset securities can be exceptionally risky and are often volatile. Okay. Fraudsters continue to exploit the rising popularity of crypto assets to lure retail investors into scams, often leading to devastating losses. Having an investing plan as well as understanding your risk tolerance and time horizon can be critical in your investing success. Why does all this read like, okay, it's fine, just hey, it's hella risky? I feel like this is a completely change of tune compared to the whole, we hate everything, this is awful, blah, da, 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 da. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit bullish all of a sudden. So, wanted to talk about different things that came up on my timeline from Shamdu. This was today at 5 a.m. my time. Coming from a former diehard ETH maxi, please ask yourself one honest question. Why would new entrants choose ETH over Sol? Well, I mean, is it even about new entrants versus how things are becoming more accessible, right? We have these layer twos. We have things that are built on top of Ethereum, where the main argument with this is about the gas fees. And so if you take away the gas fees, for anything, all these blockchains, like if you use NBA Top Shot, use whatever, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, whatever product has stuff that you're going to be interacting with, that's where people go to. Right now, the Solana ecosystem is obviously having a lot of moving parts. It's exploding. A lot of people are hyping that up. I'm talking about it on the timeline, and it's the whole social currency aspect where it's really playing a big role. So I don't really think for this in a way, why would you pick Sol over ETH? It's more like, where's the applications that you're going to use, unless you're just looking at this from, hey, I'm going to buy a token and partake in, the speculative asset side of things. And speaking of speculative assets, if you haven't seen, Mocaverse has been absolutely moving. And this was a post that says shares is 1 billion. As part of the raise, the company has granted to participating investors a free attaching utility token warrant at a nominal price on a $1-to-$1 basis with a 30-month vesting schedule. So that means basically for these Mocaverse NFTs, which has raised a whole bunch of money, they posted yesterday saying Animoca Brands raises a total of $31.88 million for Mocaverse, making an additional $11.88 million in second tranche of funding. A lot of stuff's going on with Mocaverse, and if they have a token, we just saw what happened with the grapes. I was thinking about it yesterday. Think of all the ecosystems that have tokens, right? We had Meme that went crazy, Pixel Vault's redoing theirs, and that's starting to get a lot more traction. A lot of the big cores have been selling for what else has there been? There's been the Futureverse one, obviously, and I had like a whole list. I've written out so many tweets and then deleted them because I'm like, this feels kind of like a brain dump, and it's like, is this actually is this valuable information for the people that are reading it? And basically, we've just seen a lot of NFTs that have launched tokens, and in early days, we saw that happen, and almost all those NFTs aren't around anymore. They don't exist. They don't really do anything. A couple of them do. Where for Pixel Vault, obviously there's POW and Punks, and then also for Wolf Game, there's Wool. Obviously, the height of like the price points for those were very different before, but those were a few of the collections that are actually still around today that launched a token way back when. So seeing these new collections come out with tokens, that was a huge driving force that ended up people were just using its marketing. But now that we're in, I guess, almost 2024, things are a lot more stringent, and we have these big companies coming through and having a big play, which Dapper Labs being an investor in this is very, very interesting. And this guy posted saying somebody dumped on my bids right before the new Animoca raise, so now I'm stuck with this ugly thing. And saying, imagine waking up every day to the face of Mocaverse art. And I mean, listen, these things are kind of funky looking. I guess that's the logo. Hopefully one of these guys has a photo of it, which is not going to be the case. Now I'm going to have to go to OpenSea and show you guys a photo because you might not have seen it. Oh my goodness, Mocaverse. 3.26. Again, these were at like half an ETH not that long ago. These things are terrifying looking. We could argue that this is better or worse than the original Gary V Friends. But welcome to the lovely world of NFTs. Okay, so this is me talking to you as somebody who does this, and I think a lot of you are missing out on an opportunity to, even if you're just wanting to do something for fun. So Ash Robin posted, find your niche and do what you're good at. In life, it's best to identify your strengths and lean into them. Some people are skilled traders, spaces hosts, video creators, leaders, yada, 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 yada. But my point with bringing this up is the fact that we are going to have an absolute explosion in interest across the board, right? Think of every new video game that comes out that ends up getting some significant traction. There's a whole slew of people that end up covering that, potentially becoming content creators. We have that, but on a bigger scale than just games. We have these protocols. We have, entire ecosystems that are being brought out. And if you think about it, there's probably people that you follow right now within those different ecosystems that you find valuable. And at the same time, there's ecosystems that you don't really have a lot of info on. And you're like, that's too difficult to keep up with. But maybe if there was more people that were covering that certain topic or delivering it in a way that would be beneficial to you, well, that's good. And so that's one of the original reasons why, when Top Shot took off, I was like, hey, there's not a whole lot of people covering this. Like, this is going to be something that's really fun. And then we've kind of continued that. And there's an opportunity out there. And I just want to, kind of give you a little bit of nudge. If you're wanting to get involved, be sure to do so. So this was a post that I thought was intriguing because a lot of people kind of forgot that this was the notion, or at least people were yapping about it. Back in the day. A lot of people said if Yuga fails, NFTs are dead. I think one of the reasons for that thought process is they had obviously the biggest following, they had the biggest treasury. It seemed like they were one of the only people really doing something substantial, at least within the NFT realm. If you look at crypto as a whole, as everyone's always said, it's like 100 times bigger than just what the NFT kind of landscape is as a whole. And so there was all this onus on like, hey, you guys got to do something because now they're in the spotlight. They're kind of, in a way taking control. But, we could say that about CryptoKitties early on or NBA Top Shot when it went nuts. And it's just, we're moving the goalpost here. So if other side fails, Web3 gaming is dead. Same thing as before. That is such a fatalistic perspective. New participants care about the games that got them onboarded. Games like ZTX, Shrapnel, Overworld, and AOF dominate the timeline. I'm going to be totally honest. I have not seen any of this over the timeline for me. I've seen Shrapnel, a little bit of people showing the trailer. But for the amount of people that I follow for Web3 gaming, I guess just in Web3, a lot of people don't really talk about gaming at all. Or the only thing that I've noticed is they only talk about what they are rocking as a PFP. We've definitely gotten into that realm where everybody just focuses on whatever they're specifically into, and that's awesome. Everybody's kind of super fans within that, but I don't really see a whole lot of new participants talking about some of the stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Parallel would be probably one of the only games where I've seen a lot of people, no matter what their PFP is, Yeah. Anyway, so I just want to talk about that beginning part here and mentioning how it's funny that the onboarding, the thoughts before, everything's changing as we're going. Crazy take here, but I kind of agree with it. If you're not working 10 hours, if you're not working 10-hour days on crypto for the next 18 months, it will be the biggest regret of the decade. So I think that there's points of this that are like, okay, what do you mean? Do you mean just in crypto? Do you mean leverage trading? Do you mean day trading? Do you mean buying and hodling? What exactly do you mean by you have to be working 10 hours a day on crypto? I think there's going to be a lot of things that pop up. And one of the ones with NFTs early on that we talked about earlier was the fact that people were launching tokens with collections, and everyone suddenly had a whole bunch of FOMO over, oh my God, we can get these tokens, and it's a way to get liquidity out of an asset instead of selling that asset. And that was one of the original things when I was kind of pondering about, okay, so for Bored Apes, it seems that there's kind of things that always keep kind of getting dropped to us or having happened, where for like a CryptoPunk, you don't really get anything. It's just an asset, and that's cool, right? And so the perspective and the evolution of what these NFTs can be and can provide are changing. And so when the opportunities arise for different stuff, be careful as trends kind of go on here, and you'll want to get involved in everything. And personally, after doing this for a little bit, I'm kind of like, I'm chilling. To be honest, like I'm like the buyer and the hodler, and I am okay with that strategy. If you haven't seen, there is a DeFi MasterCard that is on its way. We may have been quiet lately on socials, but behind the scenes, we are all hands on deck performing our dashboard and user experience. So if you've not checked this out, it's at BOFXYZ. Seamless access to real world assets, DeFi yields, and DeFi MasterCard. And they are not a bank. But the aspect of having a DeFi MasterCard is outstanding. I kind of want to interview them at some point once they're more out there, launched, yada yada, because this is kind of behind the scenes. But I think arguably this is one of the most revolutionary aspects of it.
Do I look skinnier?
I'm going to have to edit the video now. Do you want me to leave that in there? Yeah, you look great. You look great. All right, we'll leave it in. We're recording. What do you mean you don't think I'm recording? I'm yapping here. The door's open. Can you not hear me talk about this? Here, can you hand it to me? I'll show it on here. Live streaming. Please do not disturb. I didn't put it on the door. This is my fault. You're funny. Okay.
I'm going to bed.
Okay, good night. The narrative people aren't hot to yet. The maturation of desirable tokenized art as NFTs into a store of value asset class, especially those which have survived across cycles and have demonstrated cultural and artistic importance, coming soon to a theater near you. So there was an auction the other day that happened, and I was like, damn, like art is going to play a realm in this, similar to how, you know, the CryptoPunk is just its thing, and it's the asset, where for Bored Apes is kind of this opportunity to still kind of get stuff throughout its life cycle. There was a post here regarding the Ghost Squiggle, and it was at Sotheby's, and I'm like, damn, I remember when these Bored Apes went for a ton of ETH. Now, apparently it was FTX and Sam that bought it at the time, but there was a lot of other, just, you know, across the NFT landscape, or, you know, crypto art, whatever terminology you want to say, they got pushed through these auctions. And I think the more headlines we see from these auctions, that's when things are really going to get spicy, because I remember some of the heights that those ones previously were at, and I feel like I have not heard anything regarding auctions or anything for a very long time, and this is the first one. And there's only 4 Ghost Squiggles. I think it's kind of cool. All right, if you like hockey, Ontario Hockey League. This is so stupid, but I felt like I wanted to put it in here. So this team posted this huge thing about turn those notifications on, emergency press conference. They said that there was $5 beer coming. Imagine being a hockey team hyping up this big announcement as if you're acquiring a player Something magnificent is happening. You're getting Shohei Ohtani to play on skates, and they just say beer is a bit cheaper. That to be honest, that's ridiculous. And then Easy Ether, he posted, how's y'all Christmas decorations coming? To be honest, we got Killer Bears and then Pudgy Penguins. There's going to be a point when you're going to go to somebody's house and they're going to have a display of NFTs, potentially just like behind me. And that's when we know we've made it. All right, Jito airdrop. I made over 200K with the Jito airdrop. I don't understand why people are just like, hey, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's my face. Come find me. Listen, maybe 2023 is a different time, but I feel like this is just weird to go out bragging about how much money you've made with this. But the reason that I'm bringing it up is because this Jito thing on Sol happened. Earn Mev rewards through Jito's Solana liquidity staking pool. I haven't looked into it, to be honest, but all I care about is the fact that Binance listed it and the token mooned. So I was arguing with people before about, hey, if these tokens, whether it be Grape, whether it be Root, whether it be whatever the hell you're holding, does get on Binance, stop ignoring it or if there's a chance that that's actually going to happen, because Binance is absolutely a market mover in that aspect. So, Pudgy Penguins, we've talked a hell of a lot about tokens today, and when I was trying to come up with a list of tokens that were being dropped from collections, in that post I was originally going to write there's a whole bunch of rumors about Pudgy Penguins having a token. And so on their site, this is different now, but it shows a countdown before these doors open, and some people thought that it's a token. And the weird part with this is that Pudgies have completely mooned. Like, to a point that's kind of scary with how quickly that it's happened. Because they're almost at 12 ETH, okay? And literally the other day, so October 22nd, hold on. So November 19th, they were at 5.95. So they're at 6. So they've basically doubled in like a week. And that just seems absurd because what has happened? I don't think anything besides this, where people are expecting a token drop, but before there was the little Pudgies within the eggs that they dropped as a Christmas present. So maybe this is an assumption that something's happening again. Maybe it's an assumption that the token's happening. Either way, holy hell. These have really mooned. Okay, really quick here. Thought this was super interesting. In terms of time to crack a password, here's a chart. Maybe save it. But they show the number of characters, what it's like for numbers only, lowercase only, upper and lower, and then what it's like if you have a number, upper, lower, symbols, all that kind of stuff. And this is just cool. If you're trying to really crack down on your password maintenance, security, whatever, take a quick look at this and you can kind of see where if you have only 8 characters and it's upper and lowercase, it can take 2 minutes to crack, where if it's numbers only, it happens instantly. However, once you get down here where you have way more characters, upper and lowercase, number to lowercase, it's going to take absolutely forever for those passwords to get cracked, and I think that is kind of cool. All right, speaking of Shohei Ohtani here, 1 year ago today on the 6th, I know it was 2 days ago, but I still find it hilarious, Arson Judge appears headed to the Giants. They mean Aaron Judge, but I remember when that rumor happened, and then nothing became of it. All right, that's going to wrap it for today. It is Friday or Fry-yay. Call of Duty League starts in like 2 hours. YouTube exclusive only. I hope you guys like this. I asked for the other videos. Comment if you like them, but not many people commented, but you watched it. So I appreciate the hell out of you. Enjoy the rest of your Fry-yay, and we'll talk soon.